You condone things like tree spiking, right?
I don't know if I really, well, I don't think I have a problem with a person dying. I mean, I know I don't, but, I mean, any more than I do with anything else dying. But I think in terms of it being a good way to work the environmental movement, it probably doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm just not gonna gather a lot of people behind it. And the male and the white and the upper and middle class tendency to be like, to be super paranoid about their rights and to be like, oh my god, my rights are being infringed upon. Oh my god, they're being taken away. The whole total consternation that black people could approach a white person on the highway or something and beat him. It's just pretty representative of that, you know, that's been going on for years and years and years, the other way around.
A lot of people said, well, why didn't these people just attack the rich Hollywood townhouses or something, you know? But when you get mad, do you go and attack your mother or the rich person down the hall? If you do it immediately, when you were little, when you got mad, did you destroy your room or did you destroy the room down the street of the rich little kid who called you a name?
Like people that go to debates.
Cool. I just think a lot of it's just money.
I think they're richer than most people. They all have new cars and we all have old cars. Maybe we should loot them.
About the Costa Farms. And I mean, that's major brutality right there. He takes workers from down south, way down south, mostly Hispanics, and he promises certain wages and like, you know, home and provisions, and he works them to death. I mean, they can't even get like sick time or anything. Half of the working conditions is unbelievable. That the homes or the shacks they live in are extremely crowded. They don't have any winter clothes, and up here it's extremely cold. And most of them are sick, and they don't get any. It's not benefiting them at all. He's just using them. They're basically slaves. I think the writing that happened down our side really scared some people. When it comes down to it, I think it was a good thing.
Basically what happened was a few people said, okay, we really want to try and do something in the community in regards to the Rodney King decision and just in terms of like local incidents that we've all heard of police brutality. So we said, okay, why don't we get together Saturday night? Oh, I know, and there were some people that called from Auburn called Steve and wanted to talk to him about it too, because they were pretty upset and knew that we would maybe probably do something about it. That was a little maybe controversial, that sort of thing. So a bunch of people found out about this meeting that we set up for Saturday night, and people that we haven't all been working together in quite some time, actually. So I was really surprised, actually, to see a number of people there, especially some women that, you know, there's kind of been, I guess, a split in terms of communication, in terms of working together and stuff. And after we started to talk about, okay, let's have an action, what can we do here? Here's like at least one idea. And then we kind of talked about, well, what's behind the action? What's the point? What, you know, are we going to just address like local police brutality? Are we going to talk about racism? You know, should we be able to talk about racism, you know, or should we feel that we can do that talk about racism as like, you know, mostly all white men and women. I guess that was part of it because some of the people that set up the meeting that were there really wanted to just, you know, boom, 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 let's plan this out like we always do kind of thing, and not take some time to think about it, but, you know, kind of let us like have our say or whatever and let people kind of talk about it for a while. And then I thought we came up with a contingency plan, or at least some kind of okay, you know, we'll talk to Amanla and see if they want to work on this with us, and, you know, and see how they feel about, you know, what we should be trying to get across to people. And we were going to have another meeting to talk about more like specifics or logistics or whatever on Sunday, and we were going to maybe do some research and look up some information about local statistics, I guess. And so that was all fine and good. And then the next day, I hadn't heard anything about a meeting. And we didn't really assign like who was going to do what. That was part of the problem too. It was just like, okay, fine. And then everyone thought someone else was going to do it, so we all went our merry way. And had a little wine at a party across the street, which was a great time. And, you know, just some fun conversations, kind of lighten the atmosphere that we'd all been experiencing from my side. So then Sunday came, and it was around like 4 or 4:30, and my friend called me. I was taking a nap, and my friend called me and said, let's go out to dinner or whatever. And I hadn't heard anything about a meeting. I probably should have called around to see, but I really wanted to go out with my friend, so I left. And then I got back at around 12 or so, and there was a message on my machine saying, oh, some of us got together tonight, and are going to get together tonight, you know, if you want to come at 9 o'clock or whatever. So I figured, well, it's 12 o'clock, it's probably over. And I didn't think that anything would happen, like, so, like, soon. I figured I could wait till at least, you know, the next day to figure out what went on and to see what was decided and who was there and all this kind of thing. And then the next day I was talking to Nicole. It was really interesting. Like in the afternoon, we were just talking on the phone and just, well, how did you feel about the meeting Saturday night? And I talked to some other people too. Everyone, especially the women, were like, wow, you know, it was great. We really had a good dialogue going, you know, and when, you know, we had a bunch of people who hadn't been working together lately, and, you know, we were able to, you know, really, we just felt that it was a positive thing. And then I think in the time that it took me to get over here and have some dinner with people, you know, found out that there had been an action by, like, I guess 5 guys that tend to do these actions together, and a number of them were at the meeting and stuff, and all of a sudden we were really mad. I guess it's just a simple way to put it. So we decided, we had a long discussion over dinner about what should we do about this. Should we just say, well, screw it, these people aren't going to listen to us anymore, and we've been trying, you know, some of us for a couple of years now to work together and have just been totally overrode and whatever. Or should we actually maybe make one last try, being women and tending to, like, not wanting to admit when we should give up or whatever and cut our losses. We said, okay, we're going to try this again. We're just going to call these guys and, you know, try and, like, get the Saturday group back together to figure out what went wrong, I guess, or what, you know, where it broke down, and talk about it. And how we felt, basically. We just wanted to be listened to, I think, and just wanted to I don't want to say have our feelings validated, because we don't need our feelings validated. We know how we feel, and we think they're valid already, but we just wanted the guys to hear them. And so we started calling around to different men that were at the meeting and the men that did the action. And we set up a pretty quick meeting for, I guess that was Monday night at, like, I guess 9:30 or so. I guess it doesn't really matter, but, and we had some resistance from one guy who wasn't at the meeting on Saturday night and has kind of been out of the scene, I guess, and a couple of people actually tried to talk to him about going, and he didn't want to go or whatever. But anyway, so then the meeting came, and some people were a little, I think, tense about it. And not everybody was there that had been at the meeting on Saturday, and so that, you know, that was kind of too bad too. But the people that were there, I think we had a really good conversation that night actually, and I think that the men kind of understood to a certain extent, some more than others, I think, what our kind of what our concerns were and what our feelings were, and that lasted for like 3 hours. I mean, it was a pretty long, intense conversation. At times, there were times when you could feel the tension rising, and it could have gone either way. People could have either started yelling and walked out, or they could have, but luckily that didn't happen. And the guys that did the action, I mean, there tend to be, by those of us who are kind of outside of organizing, or have been outside of organizing things, and they've been doing it for quite some time. They're very comfortable together, good friends and that sort of thing. The issue was that we just felt kind of like, it's one thing if people want to go in a small group and do an action, but we felt that there was some kind of a commitment to the group on Saturday in terms of like having kind of a plan, and that some people that could have been called for the Sunday meeting weren't called, that were at that meeting on Saturday, and some like judgments were made, like just because we were not, I don't even want to say, well, maybe hesitant to jump right in and do something without really thinking about it or planning ahead for it, that means we didn't want to do anything. And so a bunch of people, I think, that would have liked to have been down there, doing this action, weren't included, and didn't seem to have, there was no like rhyme or reason to it. And so I think a couple of the guys, said that, admitted, well, maybe we could have picked up the phone, or, maybe we did like kind of disregard how other people felt, and I don't know, some trust that we had as a group was broken in terms of just.
Well, I don't know.
You see what I'm saying?
I guess people keep on saying that there was this trust at that meeting on Saturday night, but I don't know. I wasn't there for the whole thing. I had my hands on other things. I had to rush after work, but I didn't get the feeling that there was much trust there. I got the feeling there was some people who would like to have said there was, but you had people going off in two different directions. Some people who wanted to do something, and some people who wanted to. Some people wanted to do something media-oriented, and some people wanted to talk about problems within the group, problems of sexism within the group. And I don't think that those two groups ever really ended up talking to each other.
I think someone might have, really, I think someone might have pointed out, like, maybe some, not even just, well, I mean, sexist comments or whatever, but people seem more like to want to talk about, not just like going out and like doing an action, but talking kind of like about how we felt about what had been going on and about the decision, and doing that kind of a thing, like kind of reflecting on it instead of just doing stuff all the time, like just jumping right into things. Like, it just seems like we kind of go along and then something happens and we're like mobilized and it's like, okay, what are we going to do? Or if we would have been doing more things all along, like talking with each other, and just, it wouldn't have seemed so strange, I guess, to get everybody back together.
I don't know, I don't get it, because I feel like I'm always talking to people.
Yeah.
Everyone at that meeting on Saturday night, I sat here in the den at times and talked to them about how they feel about Northern Ireland and Maquiaderos, or Anita Hill, or people around here. I mean, I guess I don't quite understand the idea that we're not talking about how we feel enough.
I think one question that needs, should be discussed a lot more is who we want to reach and what's the point, and are we reaching people by what we're doing, or are we, you know what I mean? Like, you can be radical, but if you want to be radical by yourself, and I mean, that's fine, but you know what I mean? Like, how far are you going to get in terms of this bigger concept called a revolution, like really changing the way that our society is, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Kind of got a new album out. It's called Alex Doesn't Have This One.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have, like, their middle album.
I told her it was something anybody can do anywhere without a script or any props. You can do anything and call it performance art. Well, it's true. It's a totally populist medium.
They asked you who we were.
Yep.
What'd you say?
Situationist International Performance Art Collective.
Excellent.
You drive it carefully?
Yes, I will. I don't know how good
What's the band with police already now?
They already do now. They called Steve.
They called me and begged me to come down and fill out a protest permit or something.
What'd you say?
No.
Were they nice?
Yeah, they're pretty nice. They were like, you might get fined. You understand that? I was like, yeah.
Hopefully explains why there's no one here.
Lewiston, please. Headshot this cop.
Are we going to get food or there's no media coming?
I think I got a cavity. Can you zoom in on?
What's the plan at this point?
Hey,
Hey, put this in your fucking interview.
Put that together. Mark's going over there checking to make sure there's media. And because I do think we should do it if there's no one there.
Yeah.
We'll have it on videotape.
Yeah.
Visions. This reminds me of Mary Poppins. Yep. Everyday life in Lewiston. A bush hand. There's another hand.
It's the fist of freedom.
Ah, yes, the fist of the three worlds. There's the police station. Where are we going?
No matter how many times you see him, still a shock.
What, how big he is, you mean?
Oh yeah. We should take out the police station too while we're at it. What are they gonna do? Beat us up? Well,
They do have a history of that, I guess.
Yeah, that might be their...
I think they got Washington State, Oregon, you got California, of course, Nevada, Atlanta, Georgia, Texas, North Carolina. I think they actually pulled up the big youth rally in Miami, Florida. Tell you one thing, if it gets to New York and Massachusetts, I'm going to Canada. But I guess Mr. Bush here kind of calmed it down for a little while. But I don't know. I think it's going to continue till those cops get arrested. They've got to be put in jail for that. That's brutal assault right there. There ain't no need of that. I mean, it's just like saying that cops can be vigilantes, you know, they have the right to beat everyone up and get away with it, you know, that's bullshit.
Get a shot of those guys in the truck over there.
Where?
Over there in the red ceiling.
Oh, they're under covers.
That's what it looks like, doesn't it? Get a shot of them.
What? No, they're taping. They're videotaping us.
Hi, even the police, yeah. Oh no, it's got a sense of interesting society. Nice security feeling, can you tell us?
Why don't you just go on and play your little games, okay? We'll take care of what we gotta take care of.
What does that mean? No, we don't. Okay, and you.
I need names. Whether you give them to me or not, that's your business. No names?
It's not about.
No, it's about my job. It's about my job and my boss. That's what it's about. As far as I'm concerned.
What if you could get a report?
Yeah, sure. I said it's up to you. That's how it is.
Trying to show America that black people terrorize. Will be accountable for their terrorist acts.
There's one right there.
Not like this. There is another way of dealing with it. If they want to do a widespread publicity.
So you disapprove of showing it in this way?
No, I think that it wakes a lot of people up.
Okay.
Okay? Standing here witnessing it firsthand, I can't imagine anybody walking away from a situation like that and then not being prosecuted for something. You know, I can't believe it was condoned by other people standing by. Because surely if I walked on a situation like that, I think that I would risk something in trying to get it to stop. Because even that being a dummy, it has an emotional value to it. So I can imagine the extent. What's his name? Start anew. Hey, what are you doing, man? Hey. Hi.
How do you think it went?
It was a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah?
I think it looks pretty good.
There's a big, huge
I think he deserved it.
Yeah, they beat the shit out of him.
It's pretty harsh words from a peace-loving man like yourself.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I love peace, but I don't think he's doing anything to help that, so who needs him around?
Yeah, he's just a puppet, right?
He's just a puppet, really.
He's a puppet dictator is what he is.
It's true.
Yeah.
I think someone must have put him in there.
A couple of the other guys.
It wasn't me.
Oh, you did? Those two names. Yeah, they were talking to me earlier.
Oh, well, they gave you their names.
I'm gonna take off.
Hey, same camera.
Yeah. Yeah, oh, this one, yeah, that's right. First one I ever started with.
Yeah, me too.
That was pretty impressive, guys.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Oh, yeah, Pantera, cool.
Oh, an eyeball. Oh.
Now, are you part of the performance?
Oh no, I'm a voyeur.
Hey, Mark.
Don't worry about the little stuff. Public works will be here. We always do.
What's that over there?
Those guys in yellow?
Yeah.
They're bike riding police.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
They can't afford cars anymore, huh?
I think it's so they're closer to the community.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you have 3 o'clock class.
Well, I don't want to talk to the library.
Oh, okay. Here we go for...
A little tomato juice up on your forehead there, I think.
Actually, Raj, I'm going to drive. Actually, I'm
No.
going to
Yeah, okay. I'm just right in here.
You gotta drop this off?
Yeah.
Okay, well we'll keep the videotape.
Yeah.
This is the Situationist International Performance Art Collective.
They
Just
love
a
each
bunch of
other.
guys with some things and
Just a bunch of white middle class, heterosexual male activists.
White.
There they are.
We got our problems.
First meeting Saturday night I felt really good about because I thought we were doing things differently for once. You know, I thought, because I get sick of, okay, what are we going to do? You know, I'm like, well, let me sort out how I feel and how I think about things and see how other people think about things, and then I can figure out what I can do about it, you know. And it seemed that a lot of people were listening, even though we had to stop and say, you know, one person speak at a time, please, which is always a woman who has to stop all the arguing and say, look, we can't hear anything. But then when I heard that some people went out and beat up the bush puppet anyway, that really bothered me. I mean, on several levels. First of all, because I thought I didn't see any point to it. I mean, I really didn't see it accomplishing anything. And it seemed like a violent act was no way to protest a violent act. And, you know, if you want to go out and beat up a bush puppet for the fun of it, that's fine. But the timing was problematic to me. And the other thing that bothered me is that I thought we were going to have another meeting to decide what to do, and we were going to do it as a group rather than as a few people doing something that I considered very silly. So anyway, when I found out that everybody else had done this thing, I was really upset for a lot of reasons, and I talked to Joanne and Nicole about it, and they wanted to set up another meeting. We decided to have it here rather than at a man's apartment. We figured we were going to control this. It was going to be in our place, and
But it was interesting as we were calling people up to come to this meeting. All the women we called were like, yeah, that's really cool, that's a good idea, we should do this and stuff. All the men were like, well, you're all gonna attack me. You're all gonna gang up on me. And that's not what we wanted to do at all. We just wanted to find out what happened. And people don't talk to each other enough. Or they talk a lot, but they don't listen. And they don't, it seems like everybody's so scared to listen because they're afraid they might see the other person's point of view. And then they're gonna have to rethink everything. I mean, there's this very emotional component to politics. I mean, you can make all the theoretical arguments you want, but eventually you're going to go with what you really feel and what you feel is right. And I think that's been discounted a lot, and I think people don't recognize how emotionally attached you get to your political views and how.
I see immaturity and childishness as a good thing rather than a bad thing. I was doing it because it was fun, and I see fun as probably one of the most revolutionary acts you can do, because our whole society is designed to bore you to death, so you're fit through going 3 years of school to work. And so I was going out and having a good time. Going through the whole thing with the war last year, which I know everyone has done, at least everyone you probably talked to has gone through, just has really created a sense that holding up a sign or, some of the traditional forms of protest which have been going on are going to do shit. We were talking earlier about counterculture, maybe creating a counterculture, not necessarily something to replace current society, but a place where people can live outside of it. I don't know if we can afford to have that become the sole issue that we're doing it for. Everyone has their own sort of hierarchy of issues that they deal with. I am Marxist, say class. It's all economics and class issue. Once we deal with that, everything else will fall into place. While a lot of feminists will say once we deal with, gender inequality, everything else will fall into place. And I guess I believe that the problem is with hierarchy in itself.
I remember, the first meeting I went to, there were a lot of people there. It was like 40 or 50, I can't remember how many, but there were a lot, maybe even 60. And it was a pretty mixed group of men and women, but there was already sort of an established key group of people, and they were all men. And I remember a lot of meetings where I would be like the only woman, and that was really alienating. We don't know how to cooperate with each other and really listen. And I think that's why we have to do videotapes now, is because we're not listening to each other. Left Out was, I have mixed feelings about it. Left Out, I know the people who originally started it were really, it seemed like, basically everybody who I talked to about it really wanted women to write for it. For certain people, I got a genuine feeling that they really wanted women to write for it because they wanted to hear what women had to say, and they wanted a diverse group of people and wanted it to be a real forum where any views could be expressed. I got that feeling. But then there are other men in the group that I just got the feeling that they wanted women to write for it because it would validate what they say more, or that'd be sort of a token thing. Oh, look, we have women writing for us. We're not sexist, or look, we have all views represented here. And I didn't feel like that was really going to happen. And I mean, having people say to me, Susan, write an article because we don't have any women writing, I felt was really sort of not really a slap in the face, but it was insulting because it was saying Susan, you have breasts, why don't you write, or something like that. It's not really wanting to hear what I have to say specifically, and that bothered me. And that's one of the reasons why I sort of was well, fuck it, I'm not gonna write.
I don't think we are immune to criticism, nor do I think we ever thought we were, or certainly not recently. With that piece, there was a lot of discussion between us. I think we realized that it was, white, heterosexual males doing a piece. I think we were conscious of that all along. But it seemed to us the gravity of the situation was such that we had to act. I mean, I think we felt that we are committed to ending injustice. We don't claim to be able to achieve perfect pieces or perfect protest, but we think it's always good to try, and it seems that in most instances is preferable to doing nothing at all. I think the people that criticised it as yet have done nothing. And, you know, I find that a little bit disconcerting that while we sit in our, you know, nice, comfortable dorm rooms talking, people are being beaten, starved, raped, tortured, not just in this country, throughout the whole world. And I think we have obligations to do things in this country. It might not have been a perfect piece, but the responses we got, there were positive, favourable responses. Granted, there will be critical and negative ones, but there were positive ones. Some people will learn from it, some people will question what's going on. That's all I think we could ever hope to achieve.
What I find most interesting is that, especially it seems like with performance art, or this type of art, is that the criticism itself becomes part of the art itself. I mean, you can't make the distinction between your piece and your actual actions and the criticism that came, because it's all sort of involved in the whole thing. I mean,
oh, that's true. I mean, that's deliberate.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's I mean, I don't use this word sometimes, but that's intentional.
I mean, any kind of
there is an intention,
linearity, really,
and an awareness of that piece. That the fact that the thought I was thinking of before did come back just now, stimulated after the return. In that the criticism, to say that the piece with the George Bush puppet had negative effect is kind of undercut by the fact it generated a critique on the left itself.
Exactly.
That itself is a debate which a piece has stimulated, and which the people, in a sense, who are critiquing the lack of discussion are partaking in a discussion, carrying out that piece as generated, so they undercut their own position in many ways. It's a strange byproduct of working on the so-called left, that when we do things, they're often framed in terms of we're doing this for someone else. And we always forget that, you know, we're human beings as well with feelings, and we have the right to do things occasionally, and maybe more often to represent ourselves. You know,
Right.
At me as a white middle class by association, in a sense, white middle class male, I have certain feelings about things, and I wish to express them. I don't think that because I'm a white male.
But you're not allowed to, did you know that?
Well, that's part of a problem that some people seem to hold that view now, that anything I might do is worthless by virtue of being a white male. And so, you know, about 2.5 months ago, maybe, with an X-Acto knife, I went into a class to do a performance where I slashed my arm deeply with the knife and bled over a text. And I bled on a performance art text, which the participants in the class selected pages for me to bleed on at random. But it was about me, it's again the art that I like to engage in, or engage with.
Would it change it if you said this was a sexual act?
Last year during the war, when the DSA went down to Washington, I was really into that. But a lot of times at Bates, I think that it's more like, instead of people actually going out and doing things, and I know I'm at fault for this too, because I could organize it just as well as the next person, but people sit around and talk and fight about who's gonna be in control of what, like on the Bates campus, rather than getting right out into the community. And so that's been my experience. Like, sometimes people have just sat around and like gone, well, we could do this, we could do this, we could do this, but no, instead of just going, look, this is what we're gonna do, here we go, let's do it. Say your target is homelessness or whatever, you know, and do some kind of protest, do some kind of, you know, sit-in, do some kind of community service, like talk to homeless people, sleep out, yeah. And I think talking, like for homelessness, like talking to the people who are actually, you know, in the situation is the best thing that you can do, because then you get insight into what it's really like, you know, and then it doesn't become a bunch of rich white kids trying to, you know, like help out or trying to, you know, ease their conscience. It becomes a bunch of people helping other people. Gender problems in DSA. Well, I think first of all, the women who want to be in DSA have to give the men like a little slack. You know, they're honestly trying. I mean, they're conscious of this whole thing. I'm on the board of WRBC with 8 men and me. And I don't feel any problem because, like I said, I mean, I feel like I'm just as good as them. I'm a person just like their people. I think that women should be like totally encouraged. I mean, I don't think there should be a distinction. You know, I mean, there should be a distinction, but I don't think there should be like, you know, well, should I join because I'm a woman? You know, if I'm a woman, should I still join this organization? Why would anyone even think that? You know? I mean, they should just go in there with confidence just like the men do and just be like, you know, here I am.
The idea that what we're going towards, or what we're trying to achieve, is a society or is a political activism in which men and women are equal, are treated equal, or feel equal, is just internally flawed.
What about like redefining through writing, like breaking the frame through writing, like you were talking about the paper you wrote?
I think at some point we have to one frame we have to break out of is gender, and I think that can be done through writing and through, you know, discourse. When you talk about sisterhood, when you talk about women's experiences and so on as women, and I think that it's yes, but I think that it needs to be like my experiences as a person who has been stuck in a certain role, put in a certain box by society, are blah 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 blah, and we talk. It's just at the end when you say, but now I know that I'm. And when if you go back and try to affirm yourself with the same terminology that oppressed you all your life, then where have you really gotten?
Anyone who buys into the male-female dichotomy, the man-woman, is buying into the patriarchy. Right. Any woman who buys into the identity of woman is buying into the patriarchy.
Right. Right.
I think it's like I think the left has forgotten the poor. I think the left today is monopolized by not that there's anything wrong with being an academic, but I don't see anywhere in the whole political correctness debate where class has anywhere near the importance it should have at this point.
What's bizarre to me is that people actually think that there's something called class discrimination, as if the solution to our class problems was for rich people to be nice and treat poor people as equals, which is ludicrous.
Poor people could discover their identity and be really...
That's right, and be proud of being poor. That doesn't.
It's not the same thing though, because this discrimination is totally a liberal. It's a liberal concept. It implies that if there wasn't discrimination, then people could still. I mean, what are you talking about when you're talking about racial discrimination or gender-based discrimination or discrimination based on your sexual preference, except some stumbling block that lies in your path to success? Mm-hmm. So it doesn't make any sense to talk about class discrimination. A time when it's going to be possible to consider yourself to be a leftist and to forget about the poor.
Boy, that time is now, right?
Right.
I thought you were going to get killed.
Now here she come walking, looking like a dude. Hi, Ella Garoo. She know all the colors that nature do. Hi, Ella Garoo. Hi, yellow, hi, red, hi, blue, she flew. Hi, Ella Garoo. She do what she mean and she do what she do. Got something for me, got something for you. She shows something.
you believe in Babe Ruth?
Babe Ruth. Yes, I believe in Babe Ruth.
Do you believe in Joe DiMaggio?
I do.
Willie Mays?
Yeah.
Wade Buggs?
No, I think he's a product of the media.
How do you interpret this
I don't.
performance art?
Look at it. How do I interpret this?
It's very brave.
As what?
It's very brave.
That's
Not
your
to interpret it.
Oh, not to interpret it?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I'm pretty tolerant of ambiguity. But that comes with age. And also, it didn't occur to me how it was that the cups weren't going over. And as I walked through the cups, I was thinking, oh, this would be a good seed dispersal study. It's interesting to see what insects get into which cup. And so then, because there was an insect in a cup, I picked one up. And then I found that the cups, in fact, were fastened down, which, you know, you'd have to do since it's a little bit windy here. To me, it's guerrilla theater, and I love guerrilla theater.
Seems a lot of times that like people who are far away from the realm of political activism perceive, you know, those who are within the realm kind of like freaks or something. It sucks. Like, I don't understand why people just can't be more open-minded, I guess. Like, I wasn't around when some people burned the flag on the quad there. But like, I heard there was a lot of like scuffling. Like, some people were just really extremely pissed, you know, about like, and I don't know if they're just blind, like, you know, if they really stopped and thought about what the United States represents. It's kind of silly. Like, a lot of the things are just ridiculous. What this country does, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't understand. I mean, it's obvious to a lot of people, but for some, it's just, you just can't see it at all.
It's kind of strange, isn't it, that there's even like an inside and an outside? Or you said that you feel like you're on the outside of that. We don't even perceive. It's not a thing to even call it politics. No, it's really how we decide to live our lives.
Yeah.
Right.
This is little Bry.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How you doing? You guys live in Lewiston?
Yes, sir, we do.
So, and what do you do?
Me?
Yeah.
As of right now, I'm unemployed.
Uh-huh.
What I do is I collect copper. I do what I can to get by.
Uh-huh. You collect copper?
Yeah, I collect copper, I collect batteries, I make baskets, whatever I can to get by. Brian, what's your last name?
Sear.
Brian Sear.
And pretty good at pool.
What we're doing right now is we've gotten a little money, and we're gonna go down and play pool, try to relieve the day. These kids are our future, you know? So, if they keep looking at this crap, all right, then they're gonna think that this crap is our life, you know? They ain't gonna think that education is the forum. They're gonna think that crap is our life, you know? They keep looking at that, they're gonna think the justice system has no place in this city.
Like, I didn't see what DSA was really doing, you know, like, I didn't see it as, I mean, I don't know, like, organizing marches and stuff, I just didn't see that as, like, really changing and like, I feel the change needs to be more personalized instead of group-oriented. Like, I guess a club or a group or something doing acts of resistance it's necessary, I feel, but for me, I would rather be like talking it out ideologically, like more one-on-one, because I think that's, if ideology doesn't change, then things might change, but it's just more of the same, you know, like mindfuck or whatever. So, I don't know.
Well, did you feel respected when you were listened to, and like you were treated fairly in DSA?
I felt like a piece of meat. I mean, there were lots of sex games going on within the group, and it wasn't only, like, when I talked about something, yeah, sure, I was listened to and respected. I don't think that, you know, people didn't respect my viewpoints or my claims just because I was a woman, or that if I wanted to organize something, I'm sure people would have been into it, but I also feel like there was a social aspect to the club. I think the intention was that it would be, I don't know, consciousness raising group, whatever, but within it, you know, like, women definitely, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, I don't think this was a conscious thing, but all of us became involved with each other, like, at parties, and I mean, and that's fine, but, like, in the group, there was some sort of a power differential, just because men started it, and sure, women were invited in, but they were invited in, you know, to be participants, but also, you know, to be sex partners in a way, you know. I mean, that's not why they were invited in, but that's what happened. And when that just simply happens, and going to the meetings isn't only just going to rap about issues and to think about what we can do, but also to flirt and to, you know, get to know each other better and to hang out, and it just, you know, kind of devalued what was going on in a way. So, I don't know how you rectify that in a co-ed group or whatever, but it just seemed really, really, like, extreme in this case.
Yeah. Do you plan on graduating?
Yeah.
What do you want to do when you graduate?
I don't know what I want to do when I graduate.
You want to join the Marines?
Yeah. No.
What can I do when I graduate? I could do a show when I graduate.
Go to Harvard.
In general?
Yeah.
In general, I think bid students are pretentious rich assholes.
Yeah.
I'm definitely not impressed.
What do you think, what kind of world do you think your children are going to see, or your friends' children are going to see when they're your age?
A shell. There's not going to be anything left. Is everything just being used too fast? It's going to be, I know there's going to be more war than ever before. Because there's just too many problems. All kinds of countries are going to it. And so the only way to get money is to invade other countries. So this next generation is going to be all crime, war, poverty. We just come out of the worst 2 decades of America. 70s, 80s, it's all flash, glitz, look what I got. And now we have to pay the price for it as we're finally hitting the real world, graduating and everything, and there's nothing out there for us. No jobs, nothing.
What are you going to do?
Look for a job.